equitable competition between host community members and refugees. 5, and final one, measures put in place to transition the refugees
under the Shirika Plan, including the specific roles and contributions of key stakeholders such as the United Nations High Commission for the Refugees, UNHCR. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Nanok. Chair, Administration and Internal Security, Tongoyo, can you bring a response within the first week after recess?
Honorable Speaker, I just want clarification because I think the question is misplaced. According to our standing order, this question should be referred to the regional integration. The issue of Shirika Plan refugee had been taken away from my committee.
Refugees are under what ministry?
They are under regional integration, the Peter Locha Committee, Honorable Speaker.
Clark.
There is a confusion, I know, my committee. It's the whole confusion. It's like, of course, Honorable Speaker, the issue of prisons. It is under JLAC. So this is under Peter Locha. He can confirm the same, Honorable Speaker.
Locha Kapong. Is your committee responsible for refugee issues?
Yes.
So we'll redirect the question to you. You bring a response within the first week after the recess.
Yeah, noted, and like the Honorable Speaker, my committee oversights matters refugee affairs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Engineer Nzambia of Kilome.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 442C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding review of the registration, re-registration, and alteration fees for birth certificates. Honorable Speaker, on 26 September 2024, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration filed Ringo Notice 153 of 2024 announced revised fees for registration of birth certificates, births, filed Ringo Notice number 153 of 2024 as follows. 1. The registration of a birth more than 6 months after the date of birth increased from Kenyan shillings 100 to 500 shillings. 2. The registration of this name or alteration in the name of any child whose birth has previously been registered, the fee increased from Kenya shillings 40 to 1,000. 3. Honorable Speaker, making a correction in a birth entry, the fee increased from 40 shillings to Kenyan shillings 1,000. Birth certificate, the fee is 200. And 5, re-registration of a birth, the fee is 1,000. Honorable Speaker, the surge in birth certificate fees has created an unjust barrier for countless families, transforming a fundamental right into a privilege contingent on financial means. As a mandatory legal requirement, birth certificates serve as the cornerstone of identity without which children face exclusion from education, healthcare, social protection, perpetuating cycles of poverty and marginalization. When such essential civil documentation become inaccessible due to prohibitive costs, we fail in our constitutional duty to guarantee equal dignity and opportunity for all citizens. Honorable Speaker, further, birth certificates are obtained by visiting sub-count registrars, Huduma centers, or county civil registration services, CRS offices, a process that often requires families to travel long distances, incurring significant costs and time burdens. This challenge is even adverse in rural and unserved communities where registration centers are sparse and the transportation infrastructure is limited. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the Chairperson of the Department Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1. measures that the Ministry of Interior and Administration is putting in place to abolish the increased fees to ensure that birth certificates remain affordable to all citizens. Two, Honorable Speaker, plans put in place by the Ministry to prioritize further decentralization of registration services, expanding mobile registration units, and leveraging digital platforms like eCitizen to streamline the applications and minimize physical travel requirements. Number three, Honorable Speaker, steps being taken by the Ministry to facilitate the implementation of Section 7.2 of the Children Act of 2022, which provides that every child has the right to be registered in the Register of Birth immediately after birth in accordance with the Birth and Registration Act, Cap 149. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I think, Honorable Speaker, this is the same problem which Kenyan citizen had with the increased fees in identification cards. I think, Honorable Speaker, it will be very fair.
You are debating your statement.
Yes,
Once
thank you.
you make the statement is enough. Yes, Wangari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to ride on Honorable Zambia's statement. Mr. Speaker, even as the chair responds, I would like him to also respond to my bill that I brought on birth and registration of children, Mr. Speaker, because I had brought a very important legislative proposal. We went to the budget committee. Maybe he can also brief the House on how far that bill is, because it will sort many of these issues that are being raised.
Thank you. Tongoyo, first week after recess.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I can able to deliver first week as you directed after recess. But Honorable Speaker, I just want also to ride on what Wangare had talked about her bill. It is a very important bill. It is speaking to this. And I think I'm sure it's going to help us address such issues.
Thank you.
Also, Honorable Speaker, kindly, I think as much as we also address the issue of birth certificate, it's good to appreciate.
Order, majority whip. The work of the whip is not to whip violently.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I was just saying that as much as we also need to sort a statement on this and a response, we should appreciate the issue of the ID. You know, the Honorable member is the same member who did ask the issue of fees of the ID card, which the President had waived so far. On the same note, Honorable Speaker, you know, I did promise this House, I did commit it last week, that we were to sit down, call the CS to address the majority of the members' questions and statements, And I want to report that we had a very successful session, almost 2 hours, and we managed to exhaust about 11 questions, which I will probably tomorrow able to table on the floor of the House.
Very good.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Abdi Ali Abdi Ijara.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Defense and Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding an attack on herders in Karunji area in Holugo ward of Ijara constituency. Honorable Speaker, on March 23rd, 2025, a tragic incident occurred when officers of the Kenya Defense Forces, Special Forces, specifically the Long Range Surveillance Unit, LRS, ambushed and attacked a group of unarmed herders who had entered the fringes of Boni Forest in search of pasture for their livestock. The herders' move was necessitated by a severe drought crisis affecting the region, forcing them to seek alternative grazing areas for their livestock. The security personnel deployed excessive force and brutal assault, resulting in devastating consequences to the community and the tragic death of Mr. Abdi Sabdo Muhammad of ID number 20877833.
Honorable Speaker, following the incident, 15 people were critically injured, and several others, including women and children, remain unaccounted for. Also, over 5,000 heads of cattle were either scattered or driven deep into the Boni forest, further threatening the survival of the affected families whose livelihood depend entirely on livestock. This incident has caused anxiety in the community, highlighting concerns about the use of force by security personnel and the need for a more nuanced approach to addressing security challenges in the region. Nomadic pastoralists in northern Kenya have traditionally relied on grazing routes during droughts, hence criminalizing their movement and responding with excessive force undermines their dignity, rights, and security, leaving them vulnerable and exposed. They now feel fear and betrayed, not from external threats, governments, forces they once trusted for protection and support whenever they faced severe drought. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Defense and Intelligence and Foreign Affairs, Foreign Relations on the following. The operational mandate of the KDF, including whether the use of excessive force was authorized and justified, and the disciplinary measures against any officers for excessive force. The status of investigation into the Karunji attack and the operational conduct of the KDF special forces involving in the incident. Plans being put in place to provide medical treatment for all injured victims and the facilitation of compensation for the deceased family. Efforts being made by the government to search for and account for all the missing persons and livestock, including the status and timelines. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, nominated member Harun, you can joyride on that.
Thank you, Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to comment on the matter. The KDF issue in our communities has become a serious crisis. Just last week, I brought a statement on the same where Abdullah Yusuf was killed by KDF in 2019. It took us a long process to even strip him of the military privilege to bring him to a civilian court. In 2023, I brought a statement where Sadiq Abdikadir was killed by KDF in Manda area. We equally have a crisis from the KWS who are in the communities, especially in Balambala area, Danyere. So we are wondering, on one side we have KDF, on another side we have the KWS. We are still dealing with Al-Shabaab. So I really request the committee to look into this matter because it's becoming a real problem. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Chairman, Committee on Foreign, Wape Bashir. Yes, you are in that committee?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Bring a response first week after recess.
Much obliged.
Abdul Haro, Mandera South.
Honorable Speaker,
Yes.
pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity regarding the status of representation of ethnic communities in the public service for the financial years 2022-23 and 2023-24. Honorable Speaker, the Public Service Commission is established under Article 233 of the Constitution to manage and oversight human resource in the public service. Its mandate under Article 234 includes, among others, to promote the values and principles of public service, including representation of Kenya's diverse communities and providing equal opportunities for appointment of the members of all ethnic groups. In 2024, the Commission developed the Draft Public Service Commission Affirmative Action Regulations with an aim to provide a framework for ensuring equitable representation of ethnic communities in the public service. Additionally, The Commission's framework for the implementation of values and principles in Articles 10 and 232 provides that public institutions should observe the principle of equitable representation of all ethnic communities in proportion to their share of the national population. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity on the following. A report on the national proportionate population share of each of the 46 ethnic communities, indicating communities whose representation in the public service is 1. Proportionate to their national population share, 2. Exceeds their proportionate share, 3. Is below their proportionate share, and 4. Not represented in the public service at all. B. Authorized establishment indicating the in-post figures and the variance for each ministry and state department for the financial years 2022-23 and 2023-24. C. A report on staff employed by the Public Service Commission detailing designation, job scale, and ethnicity. D. A report of all appointments and promotions made in ministries, departments, and agencies for the financial years 2022-2023 and 2023-2024, including ethnic representation, and E. Status of the draft Public Service Commission in bracket affirmative action regulations 2024. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Harold. Chair, National Cohesion. Yusuf, you bring a response first week after recess. Okay. Thank you. Adan Kainan, Eldas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the progress made in tarmacking of the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Bute, Moyale, Ethiopia Road, that is A14, in the National Trunk Road managed by Kenya National Highways Authority, Kenya. Honorable Speaker, this road, the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Bute, Moyale, Ethiopia Road, is part of the A14 designated International Trunk Road, Mr. Speaker. And this A14 runs through northern Kenya, connecting Wajir to Moyale border, and also facilitates cross-border connection to Ethiopia for a distance of approximately 545 kilometers. Mr. Speaker, the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Bute, Moyale, Ethiopia Road has the potential to unlock the transformative potential, which includes reducing logistics costs for business, strengthening supply, and chain resilience, Mr. Speaker, and fostering regional development. Mr. Speaker, such strategic investment not only bridges isolated communities to a national and continental markets, but also positions northern Kenya as a gateway to the Pan-African trade, aligning with the vision of African continental free trade area, Mr. Speaker, vision of seamless continental connectivity. Mr. Speaker, this road, the Ethiopian side, was done in 1974, and I'm sure you're aware of the history. Mr. Speaker, a robust road network serves as the backbone of the economic transformation, catalyzing trade expansion, border integration, and equitable regional development. Mr. Speaker, Ethiopia has reportedly successfully completed its section of the road connecting Moyale to Addis, transforming this critical border link into a powerful driver of regional integration. Mr. Speaker, the upgraded corridor now facilitates seamless trade and movement between Kenya and Ethiopia, significantly reducing transit times and cost. However, on the Kenya side, Mr. Speaker, tarmacking of the road from Wajir to Moyale is yet to be commenced. Mr. Speaker, the completion of this strategic road infrastructure will not only strengthen bilateral relations, but also unlock new opportunities for economic collaboration, fostering growth across the East African region and beyond. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. The current status of funding, planning, and implementation of the tarmacking of the Wajir, Griftu, Eldas, Buna, Butte, Moyale, Ethiopia Road, that is the A14 International Track Road managed by Kenya, including specific timelines for its commencement. B+2, Mr. Speaker, plans put in place to fund this project, particularly under the Horn of Africa Gateway Project or any other development initiatives, and details of the funding commitments, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, finally, also the measures put in place to fast track the tarmacking of this critical corridor to ensure its timely completion and maximize its economic and regional integration benefits. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. GK, Chair, Transport and Infrastructure.
Honorable Speaker, we will avail a detailed response after the recess.
Within?
After the recess or 2 weeks, whichever comes earlier.
2 weeks after recess?
No. After recess,
yes,
we should be able to
within
respond.
The first week?
Within the first week, yes.
Okay. Yes, Wangari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to raise a constitutional requirement on a bill that has been pending on this House. Article 113 of our Constitution clearly spells out that mediation committees should finish their job within 30 days, Mr. Speaker. The Gambling Control Bill, number 70 of 2023, Mr. Speaker, has been in abeyance since last year. Maybe you can help me to guide the majority and minority leaders to ensure that that mediation committee is either disbanded or is redone, Mr. Speaker, so that we deal with this gambling menace as it is.
Clerk, check out and give me a brief. Nguna, I will give you a guidance tomorrow.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Password to Standing Order 44-2C. I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation regarding the circumstances surrounding the delayed execution of service contract of Director General of the Kenya Fisheries Services. Honorable Speaker, the Fisheries Management and Development Act, Cap 378, provides for the appointment of DG of the Kenya Fisheries Services, who is also the Chief Executive Officer of the services. The current Director General was appointed in October 2020 for a period of 4 years, renewable once in line with the provision of the Act. The Kenya Fisheries Services Human Resource Policies and Procedure Manual and the Mwongozo and the Guidelines on the Terms and Conditions for State Corporations 2004. Under the applicable framework, a serving Director General wishing for renewal of contract is required to express interest of renewal by writing consideration to the chairman of the board at least 6 months prior to the expiry of the contract for the consideration and approval of the board. It is on this basis of this framework that Mr. Daniel Mugai, the Director General, sought renewal of his contract prior to the expiry of his first contract term. Honorable Speaker, it is believed that during the 26th ordinary session of the Kenya Fisheries Service Board meeting held on 12th of July 2024, the board made an anonymous decision to renew the contract of Mr. Daniel Mugai as the Director General of Kenya Fisheries Services for a second term. Surprisingly, despite the board having sought and received concurrence from the Minister of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs through the Cabinet Secretary, who was then the acting as the Cabinet Secretary. Contract was never executed. Instead, Mr. Mugai was awarded an extension of a period of 6 months, raising concerns on the compliance with the board resolution. Honorable Speaker, it is in the above matters that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation on the following. 1. The circumstances surrounding the failure to execute renewal of the contract of Mr. Daniel Mugai as the Contractor General of the Kenya Fisheries Services, despite the approval of the board on 12 July 2024, and the jurisdiction for award of 6 months extension of the tenures. 2. Steps taken to inform Mr. Mugai as the substantive Director General of the Kenya Fisheries Services, so as to ensure operational continuity of the services, including timelines. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, Water, Blue Economy. Yes. Honorable. You are the Vice Chair. Yes. When can you bring the response?
Mr. Speaker, says so 2 weeks from now, whichever is earlier.
That's Kitayama.
Yes, this is Kitayama.
Yes.
Yours truly here.
Yes, within the first week
of resuming
resumption.
From resumption.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion, inquiry into irregular and illegal grant of tax exemptions to a company under the Special Operating Framework Agreement.
Mover to reply. I've been told by the chair that DK Kimayo is the one replying. Not DK, Kimayo of Keio South. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to reply. Mr. Speaker, this motion was about the irregular exemption of taxes. And I want to thank this House, those who contributed. I want to thank those in the committee on behalf of the chairman of the Committee on Delegated Legislation and the members. We say thank you, and we urge this House that tax exemption is a very bad precedent in this country, and we should punish those who don't pay taxes instead of encouraging those who don't pay taxes. This was a motion, Mr. Speaker, where a company was exempted from paying taxes. And you know where we are in this country at the moment. We are struggling to get taxes through KRA. And if we continue allowing people to not to pay taxes, we will struggle in getting money for development, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, we should be discouraging as a House people who are exempted from paying taxes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I beg to reply.
I beg to reply. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Members on their feet, take your seats. Members on the Kibagandi, take your seats. Ijara, take your seat. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 8, which is at this House. Order. Zambia. You think you are in the village of Kilome? What is Kasalu saying to you to... Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on the inquiry into irregular and illegal grant of tax exemptions to a company under the Special Operating Framework Agreement laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 26 September 2024. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, second reading.
Owen, are you the one moving?
Yeah.
Owen Bayer.
Give me the order, Papa. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025. Honorable Speaker, to be read for the second time, sorry. Honorable Speaker, the principal object of the bill is to reduce poverty and vulnerability and improve the well-being of the people by providing assistance, services, and programs that build human capital and cushion people against risks and contingencies throughout their cycle. Honorable Speaker, Part 1 of the bill provides for the preliminary matters such as the interpretation of terms used in the bill, objects, and the act, the application of the act and the guiding principles and the role of the county government in the provision of the social protection bill. Honorable Speaker, the bill provides for the establishment of the National Board of Social Protection and defines its composition, functions, powers, and its sources of funds. Some of the functions of the board include advising the Cabinet Secretary on matters relating to social protection, designing and implementing social protection intervention and programs, providing social assistance and social care to vulnerable persons, coordinating social protection interventions, establishing and maintaining a social protection registry, undertaking civic education on social protection, periodically undertaking indexation of social assistance benefits in collaboration with the National Treasury, and undertaking resource mobilization for social protection interventions. Honorable Speaker, there are very many people in this country that actually require social protection, but we do not have a law that anchors social protection in this country. They are the vulnerable people, the disabled people, and many other people, Honorable Speaker, that require assistance from government that protects them from the vagaries of the kind of life that they live in. But, Honorable Speaker, we do not have. For example, the elderly, Honorable Speaker, we give stipend to them every month, but we don't have a law for that as a country. There are many disbursements that come from government, but we do not have a law that, see, this is an opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to ensure we have a law in this country, a law that guides social protection. Honorable Speaker, one of the key things about this law is to provide a registry. Sometimes county government gives resources to this person, national government gives resources to that person, NGO gives resources to that person, but they leave many other people. Just a few people will benefit because they know how to go about the system. But, Honorable Speaker, if we have a registry of those people that require social protection in this country, Honorable Speaker, we can take better care of them. Today, Honorable Speaker, a person gets funds for this month. He's able to afford food. But in the next 3 months, there's nothing that person gets. Honorable Speaker, we need to ring-fence the people that require social protection in this country by ensuring we have a law. Honorable Speaker, one other very important aspect about this law is actually to go down to the grassroots. How do we develop a registry? We need officers to go out there and identify the people that are required that can actually be beneficiaries of the social protection funds that we give in this country. Honorable Speaker, last month we disbursed around 3.2 billion for the elderly. Yes, government disbursed 3.2 billion for the elderly, Honorable Speaker. And we were sent messages as members of parliament to ensure that this money gets there. But the criteria
on how this is done, Honorable Speaker, is questionable. There's no laid down procedure on how to identify a person who should be a beneficiary of the social protection in this country, or the funds for the Wazee and many other funds that go out there from the government. And even when Exchequer is released, Honorable Speaker, we ask this question, under what law has this been done? There are many people out there, donors, Honorable Speaker, that want to help people that are vulnerable in this country. But because of the lack of a proper law to guide the process, they are hesitant to assist this country in that. But this law, Honorable Speaker, the Social Protection Bill, will go a long way, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that we have a criteria, we have a system, we have a law, we have regulations that ensure that we take care of the vulnerable people well in this country. Honorable Speaker, Part 3 of the bill provides for the administration of social protection benefits. It outlines the categories of persons who may be granted social protection benefits, the types of social protection benefits offered under the Act, the eligibility criteria, and the procedures for applying for the benefits. Honorable Speaker, it also provides for reviews and appeals against the decisions of the board, the rights and obligations of beneficiaries, the consequences of abusing social protection benefits, and the circumstances under which social protection benefits may be terminated or refunds made to the board. This part also provides for the review of social protection benefits, the indexation of social protection benefits, and the establishment of a social protection registry, Honorable Speaker. And these are the key elements that are currently missing, Honorable Speaker, in disbursing resources to people that we need to ring fence as people who are under the social protection obligations of Honorable Speaker. So it is important to provide, Honorable Speaker, the eligibility criteria. Sometimes you go to the village, you see an old man that is 60 years that gets benefit. Another old man of 70 doesn't get. And yet that person requires more funds than any other person. So we ask ourselves, so what was the criteria that picked this one and left this one? Sometimes you see people who have retired. They have retired, but they have resources of funds. They have a pension. They have a farm. They have everything that supports their life. But they get actually the fund for Wazee. They get money, and yet a person who does not have a pension doesn't get that fund, Honorable Speaker. This is what we tend to cure in this bill, Honorable Speaker. But then one of the most important criteria, if you look at, one of the most important things that I look at this, Honorable Speaker, is the obligation and rights. Sometimes you see an old man who is given money from the Wazee fund, but he doesn't even have the information. For a whole year, that money is not collected. And some other crooks, Honorable Speaker, actually pick the money and use it. And this is what we want to cure through this bill. Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, Honorable Speaker, and I want to prepare the Honorable Sylvanus Osoro to second this bill. Part 4 of the bill provides for the offenses. The offenses created under this part include prohibition of obstruction, the prohibition of persons from giving false information, unlawful disclosures of information, fraud, and misappropriation of funds. Honorable Speaker, one of the things that we suffer from is misappropriation of funds. Sometimes this money is given, but a higher percentage is used for administration than the money that goes to the real vulnerable people. Honorable Speaker, there are other parts of this country that actually do not get this fund because data has not been collected. Honorable Speaker, this is a fund, this is a law that will help the people of Changamwe, every person in Changamwe who requires assistance, to get the assistance, not the bourgeoisie that are there and yet they get assistance, Honorable Speaker. So this is an important law. I want to urge this Parliament to support this law to ensure the people of Suba South, Suba North also benefit, Honorable Speaker, so that every Kenyan who is supposed to benefits, Honorable Speaker. I can see the Honorable Ben Sauda is happy with this law, Honorable Speaker, because it will help the people of Homa Bay to actually also be reached, so that they say that Serikali has not reached them. Honorable Speaker, this is an important law. I want to urge everybody, including the people that come from the minority leaders' home, so that they also get social protection. So I want to urge everybody and every member that this is a law worth supporting, worth passing, and worth the name of this Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Sylvanus Osoro the Honorable MP of Mugirango South and Chief Whip of the National Assembly.
Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I second this particular bill, one thing that should be very clear, and really when one grows or when one is growing, they hardly tell themselves that at some point you'll get old. That in your 30s, you have to know that there is a time you'll be 40, there's a time you'll be 50. Honorable Speaker, when I was a young man, an extremely young man, although you still call me young man, when I was 20, I used to look at people.
You are a very young man.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I agree. Honorable Speaker, when I was 20, the people who are 40 used to look very old to me. I didn't know that 40 was just next door to me, Honorable Speaker. And now that I'm also there, I look at people who are 60 as very old. I know soon I'll also be there. I do not know where to classify you, Honorable Speaker, but that is the reality of life. That at some point, people will get to 60, people will get to 70, people will get to 80. And it is the responsibility of government to take care of the elderly. It is the responsibility of a responsible and well-organized and well-structured government, Honorable Speaker, to take care of the people of such a majority age, Honorable Speaker. Because when you get to the age of 70, looking at the economic status of our country and the opportunities that are therein, Honorable Speaker, if the government does not step in to take care of such people, then challenges will happen. And that is why it is important to the issues of health, the universal health coverage, the issue of social protection are very, very vital, Honorable Speaker, as far as this question of the social protection is concerned. Because looking at the jurisdictions that have grown, that have matured, that are progressive, say, for example, the United States, Honorable Speaker, where there is even provision of funds specifically, and even specifically to take care of those old people, Honorable Speaker. They have clinics. They have people that are employed to manage and do all those kind of things, Honorable Speaker, and they pay that, Honorable Speaker. I don't know why the Honorable Asad is, I don't know why, Honorable Speaker, protect me from the Honorable. Speaker, protect
Honorable
me.
Hassan, you're out of order.
You can raise the point of information.
If the member on the floor is misleading the House, you know what to do. Go on.
The Honorable Speaker, I'll be guided by him because he really must have traveled. But what I'm saying is that in progressive countries, Honorable Speaker, in progressive jurisdictions, there are provisions for taking care of the elderly and the sick. And this is the culture that we really must develop here, because looking at the rate at which, of course, the mortality rate of this country, Honorable Speaker, the people who are perhaps in their post-50s tend not to live long because of lack of such provisions, Honorable Speaker, the social protection and such elements. So this bill comes in hand, Honorable Speaker, to create structures on who exactly is supposed to benefit, on the roles the board or the cabinet secretary, those responsible are going to, those responsible should be doing. So it really clears the way for the formation of a well-structured form or format to help in crafting and coming up with a very good structure of settling those people who are in the age of the majority. So, Honorable Speaker, with those very many remarks, I beg to second.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I'll now propose the question at order number 9, which is the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, be now read a second time. Honorable members, I see a lot of names on the screen. They were there when we started. I don't know if they are for this bill. If you are not for this bill, log out. Yes, Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I stand up to raise the issue of quorum, Mr. Speaker. Whether we have quorum in the House, Mr. Speaker, to discuss this bill. Where is the number? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking? What are you rebuking about? No. There is no bill that will pass in this house going forward. No way. No. Embarrassing that we are crossing other bills. Ikifika hiyo ndio wanataka kuembarrass wewe that they are calling for quorum. When we reach that number,
Yes.
that order is when they want to call for quorum. If you look bad on you, keep quiet.
Clerk, do we have quorum? Honorable members, we have 35 members. We need 50. Sergeant, ring the bell. And the whips, do your job.
That's the wrong procedure. People can't leave it.
Are you ringing the bell? No, it's Junet.
But you see, Kimayo is the one who started this thing that when the bill comes, they will walk out.
Ndio nikuoneshe kwenye